Hi, for those that don't know me, I'm Daniel Ruhl, and I am running for the City of Kingfisher Commissioner, and I believe it is seat 4. I've lived in Kingfisher my whole life, born and raised in Kingfisher. My parents are Richard and Lori Ruhl. I've gotten to know a lot of people from Kingfisher through my time working at Ace Hardware. All through college, I worked full-time while going to school full-time. I worked for Mike and Jay at Ace Hardware and got to know a lot of people. I still see a lot of familiar faces and know everybody, know names really well. Most people probably, if you didn't know my name from Ace, you probably recognize my face that's been over 20 years ago now. We live in Kingfisher. I am married. My wife was Keela Goodwin. She's from Okarche. And we have 2 girls, 7 and 10. Both are in Kingfisher schools. I work for Interbank as the director of IT, and my wife also works for Interbank. And we try to be very active in Kingfisher activities. I am just finishing up a year as the exalted ruler at the Elks Lodge in Kingfisher, and now I will be a trustee for 5 years. So gotten to know a lot of people from the Elks as well. So anyways, that's just a quick about me.
Greetings, my name is Wendell Prim Sr. I'm a Doverite, which Dover boys won state championship. Moved to Kingfisher after I graduated from high school, went to work for Pioneer Telephone, worked there for 30 years, then got on the city council in 2015, termed out in 2023, and have 3 children. I am a widow now of 57. My lovely wife, Sabrina, passed away. But I got 3 children and 3 grandchildren.
My name is Dawn Taylor. And my background is from ministry and social service and health and human services. I have ran a nonprofit organization called Laced in Grace for the last 13, 14 years. Its focus is on intervention and education for domestic violence and sexual assault awareness. That was one of my first outreach organizations that I participated in. I also do lots of volunteering all over since birth. I'm just a part of a church family that has always volunteered, always did community outreach programs, always been involved in things of that nature. Also, I am a social worker professionally and like therapist type activities. So yeah, that's me.
My name is Jeremie Hill. I'm a lifelong resident of Kingfisher. I've lived both inside the city limits of Kingfisher and outside the city limits of Kingfisher. I have worked at Pioneer Telephone for 26 years, going on 26 years, and I have a wife and 2 children. My children are now grown and work and live in the community.
Hello, I'm Jimmie Koehn. I'm running for City Commissioner of Kingfisher, seat 3. I have lived in Kingfisher for over 55 years, have been married for over 55 years, have lived in the same house at the same address for 52 years, and I have served on the commission in the past. I served one term, I think it was from 1998 to 2002. Previous to that, I served 13 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I have lived in Kingfisher a long time. I know a lot of history. I used to know a lot of the commissioners and employees that work for the city. And so I have knowledge about what happens in the city, like with some of the upgrades that we have done over the years. And I'm not agreeing with maybe all the decisions that have been made in the past, but we have to deal with what we have right now and go forward with that. I have 2 daughters that graduated from Kingfisher High School. My youngest daughter has 3 children that graduated from Kingfisher High School. Her oldest son is married. Him and his wife both teach at Kingfisher school system. Her daughter teaches at the El Reno school system. She is a teacher at the El Reno school system. And my oldest daughter's youngest son is a teacher down in Texas. And so having good schools and things that will draw people with young families to town is important. I think I've got a lot of history there and a lot of knowledge that I can help make decisions that are good for the city of Kingfisher.
I never really thought about getting into politics. I consider this politics. I just had a few close friends and acquaintances that had just mentioned recently if I thought about running for commissioner. I'm opinionated. Everyone that knows me knows that, but sometimes that's not a good thing. But so I never really thought I would be good in politics, but I guess other people feel differently and think I should. I do know that I am responsible, can handle the tasks at hand of what a commissioner needs to do. I am unbiased. I can be unbiased and fair, see all sides of a decision or a issue that's going on, and make a fair decision for the community, and not just myself or certain individuals, but be fair across the entire elected official, individuals. So, as I mentioned, I've been involved with the Elks Lodge, and the Elks Lodge is a nonprofit. The city of Kingfisher is a nonprofit and needs to operate as a nonprofit. Need to understand that every department is a cost center, and there are obviously going to be costs involved. So I understand how that works and how to make sound financial decisions. So I think I'd do really well as a commissioner from my background, and also just being fair and honest.
I'm running because I care about Kingfisher. I know a lot of people may say that, but I care about Kingfisher. I'm running because I love serving people, and I am a servant. And being a leader, the reason I'm running, being a leader, you have to listen to people. And how I learned how to really listen to people working at Pioneer Telephone on their phones, and when I would go in there, I would ask them, hey, what is your problem? Or how can I help you? And they have to relate to me what the problem is, but I have to listen to them what that problem is.
City commissioner is something that has grown as a passion of mine. I've served the last 3 years as city commissioner in Kingfisher. I got placed there because I've always been interested in what's going on in Kingfisher. This is where I live. But then God kind of led me to be more of a actual part of everything, because there were things going on I didn't really understand. I kind of had complaints about it, and my type of personality is I want to understand more. I don't want to just complain and just sit at home like waiting for someone else to do something. I feel like you're a part of the change, you're a part of the solution, or you're on the other side of that. So I wanted to be a part of the solution. So that's still where my passion is. That's still what I feel. I still feel like I'm meant to be there so that I can administrate like a voice and a space for everyone to be heard, everyone to be pulled to the table, and things of that nature. So that's my passion.
I'm running because I care deeply about the direction of Kingfisher, and I believe it's time when steady, experienced leadership matters. The one-year term is an opportunity to provide continuity and help ensure decisions are made with a long-term interest of residents in mind. I want to bring a balanced perspective, focused on responsible growth, efficient use of resources, and protecting the quality of life that makes Kingfisher home.
I'm running for commissioner because I do have a lot of knowledge for Kingfisher, about how some of the utilities are done. I've seen a lot of changes, like from an old sewer system that the DEQ said we had to get rid of to a sewer plant, and right now the sewer plant has to be upgraded again. I remember when our present fire station was built, and here we are building a new fire station because we've outgrown the old one. And I think it's expensive to do these items, but it is money well spent for future generations. And we have to be able to keep up in order to attract people to Kingfisher.
The number one item that I want to be involved with and take a lot of pride in trying to help resolve is our infrastructure. As people, if you've been involved in hearing what's been going on, we have a lot of things we need to fix. A lot of it, we have 50-plus-year-old infrastructure, water, sewer, and some electric, and I feel very proud to be able to help with those items. I feel that it's very important, especially our water. We need, a city can only survive if you have a good water supply. And I think that we need to make improvements on that for sure, and also be able to help with, growing our city. That's the next item that is very important to me, is economic development. In order to pay for these infrastructure improvements, we need to be increasing our tax revenue. Currently, our tax revenue is pretty stale. Just been kind of staying pretty flatline. And if we plan to be able to pay for all of these improvements, we need to get more business in and get some tax revenue going. So those are two very important items to me.
I'm thinking about community service. In a community, we have to serve. And as we serve in a community, yes, we need to do the roads and all the infrastructure and stuff. And it's a lot of people talking about that. But I want to talk about community services, though. In that community, we have a lot of people saying, hey, this need done, but we don't have a lot of community service of people that wants to serve and get up and do it. So one of my things is, as a leader, is to get people to come and help, get to hear their ideas and how they think it should go, because a lot of people really don't know how, but they have say, hey, we got this problem, but I really want to come up with some solutions, and I want people to tell me, what's some solutions? How do you feel like we can fix this?
One of my concerns has always been about more representation for every demographic, basically, that's represented in Kingfisher, to have more of a forefront, therefore be represented in the things of like the stores and businesses that we have, like more diversity there, basically, and the holidays even that we celebrate, the ways that we treat others, and things like that. So I think Kingfisher is really unique and amazing, because for our size, we still feel like, we're a super small knit community, but because we're so small and knit, there are some individuals, and probably a nice little chunk of us, that don't feel pulled into everything. So one of my passions has always been to be very transparent. So that's that topic right there, is that I feel like everything that we do it for the business of Kingfisher and those stakeholders, which are citizens, business owners, visitors to our city. All of those people deserve to know exactly what it is that's going on up there. So pushing more of transparency, pushing more communication with public, pushing more of us being out there so that everyone knows that we're approachable, that government is a part of them too. That's one of my topics, I guess, my hot topics. I think now that we've got stuff going on with the fire station, then we just have a lot of things that were pushed to the side. That need to be pulled out and looked at in a different way.
One priority I hear constantly is the grocery store going away in Kingfisher, the United Supermarkets. I do realize that we do have a Walmart Supercenter that meets most of everyone's needs, but I believe that additional grocery choices along with the competition and convenience really matters for the residents of Kingfisher. Also, the second priority is the aging infrastructure. I know we already have something in place, and we just need to make sure that it's closely monitored, what we have going on right now, and ensure timelines, cost, and long-term maintenance are managed responsibly.
I want to address, one thing is I want to address that the decisions that we make are good for the city of Kingfisher. We cannot put personal feelings, we have to keep our personal feelings out of our decisions and what is good for the city of Kingfisher. There are some things that I'm not sure about on decisions, and I would like to know how those decisions have been made in the past. I do believe that we can put things on a good path and keep them there. I've been told, listen to them at the city commission's meetings lately, that there's been some things that past commissioners didn't look far enough into the future and plan on having to upgrade some things that we've had, and so it is causing a little bit of money problems. I think those can all be settled in a good way, though.
Yeah, I am very pro economic development for Kingfisher. As I said, yeah, we need to grow our tax revenue for our infrastructure projects, and we've had no to low growth for a very long time. We need to allow developers, especially developers that we know very well and we know are going to do a good job. We need to allow them. We need to have less bureaucracy and red tape, and allow them to do what they are good at, and that's to build. But basically stop fighting development. If we want our town to grow, if we want to pay for all the stuff that we need to stop fighting growth and allow it to happen. I am supportive of the economic developer that we have brought in. I know that that's kind of a hot topic with discussion in town. I understand that the city is only paying for half of that, and the other half has been donated by a family in Kingfisher. And I hear he's already been bringing in business and already paying for, what the city's expense is. So I believe it was a good decision, and hopefully we can bring in some more development, especially a new grocery store. Sitting here in Hennessy, I'm envious of Forties. I wish we had a grocery store like that in Kingfisher, and I hope we will.
Economic development is very essential, really, because it has to grow. And so if a business grows, then jobs gonna grow. And if jobs grow, families gonna grow. And the community is gonna grow. So in economic development, everybody wins. And it's kind of like our word is for a reason. It says team. On economic development, we all should be on the same team. And if we're not on the same team, nobody wins though. Nobody can move forward. And I just know that one or two people, one or two businesses shouldn't be the only one growing. Economic development is the whole town that everybody's growing. You know, a lot of people have asked me, not being on the council, what are we going to do for these youth? Well, that's economic development. But here now, you really just say, okay, we're going to focus on one group. With economic development, you can't do that though. You have to do the whole town, kind of like the golf course, kind of like the airport. You can't give everything to the golf course and don't care nothing about the airport. That's economic development, and it's got to be a fair playing field for everybody. And I would love to see something happen for the youth in Kingfisher. But then, not only for the youth, what about the people that don't play sports? You know, what are they going to do? So in economic development, you have to have something for them to do also. And so economic development is very essential for the whole town of Kingfisher.
Okay, so I kind of answered that before. So my position on economic development is diversity of diversity, diversity. Why do I say that? Because I'm a farm girl and I understand that you can't keep your cows in the same pasture all year long and over and over and over and over and over and over, because it's not good for them and it's not good for your pasture. So I know that by rotating and moving and things of that nature, that brings more health to the cow and to the grass, right? So I think that's how it is with life. Like, we're also unique, right? We all have different needs and different wants and different desires. There should be something going on in Kingfisher that's able to still meet a broad spectrum of us, but where we have a variety of, like, oh, I want to go shop in this store because it brings this, that, and the other. I think I want to encourage our mom and pops, our storefronts and things like that, to communicate with each other. And knit something together. And competition is awesome to a degree, but I think also, you just like a team, right? If you're on a team that wrestles or something like that, you're going for your own specific group, but you're also working among the team so your team can progress. So I think, like, we need our mom and pops to, like, be able to lean on each other, even if they're in the same niche of things. And they need to be able to, you know, like, build upon that. So I'm with that, but I'm also with us bringing in some other type of unique businesses, things that will keep our citizens in our city or in our area, like things that are for families, things that are for activities, things that where a broad group of us can go to, even if you don't have a lot, or if you do have a lot, like somewhere in the middle.
Economic development should be organized, transparent, and supportive of both existing businesses and new investment. The city should make it straightforward to do business by maintaining clear processes, consistent expectations, and accurate zoning records. Predictable zoning and professional permitting give businesses confidence while still preserving character of the community.
That is very important. We have lost two big businesses in the last 2 years in Kingfisher. One of them was the fact that they could not find a place that was suitable, even a plot of ground that was economically feasible for them to purchase, to build a building, and they had outgrown the facility that they was renting in town there. And another one was the fact that I think due to their economic status, they finally closed their doors, but that is sales revenue, sales tax revenue that the city of Kingfisher has lost that we need to replace. And so we need to encourage people to bring businesses into town, because that is kind of the lifeblood of our town. I mean, we depend heavily on that sales tax, and the more sales tax we have, the more improvements we can make to the city of Kingfisher and our city is growing as we speak.
So I am used to being in business and also with working with the Elks Lodge. I know that communication is very important. My phone is always available, phone calls, text, meeting, whatever. So I have zero problem being there for any question, very open for communication. And I understand, city commissioners, it's very important for everybody to talk amongst themselves and also with your citizens to hear, any grievances or otherwise. So I have no issues with that, with communication. So that is definitely not a problem that I will have for city officials, the commissioners, for our mayor, for our manager. I'm always there. As I've kind of made a note that I am very opinionated, and I'm not afraid to stand up. If there is an issue that's very important, I will. But I do listen to others, and so sometimes I have my own opinion that I have formed, and I'm the first to say that I will change my opinion on something once I have talked to others, and see what their views are. I do that quite often. I'll form an opinion, and I realize I am wrong.
Listening, first of all. If you're not going to listen, then you don't really know what their ideals was or what they are bringing to the table. And I think in today's time, our biggest problem is we don't listen. And so what's very important to me is being a good listener and allow them, because I know it's important that it shouldn't be a one-way street, but it should be, okay, the mayor talks, I listen, I process it, I understand what he's saying before I respond to it. That's very important. If you don't understand what the mayor's saying, what the other commissioner's saying, you don't have a vision anymore. You got division because everybody's trying to get their point across. But very important, we have to listen to one another.
So I am very well spoken. If anybody has anything to say about me, even if they have a complaint about me and they don't particularly like me, they definitely can say that I'm very well spoken. I'm not shy. I am articulate and know how to be respectful in the way that I deliver my information and my concerns. I know how to listen, and listen is a big part of communication. I think people overlook that. So it's not all about the words that you have, it's about the compassion that you have in your heart and how your ears work. Reason we got two in one mouth, right? So that's a part of my communication is listening and then giving my opinion or point of view. It's worked really well so far. Some of our aired discussions seem a little heated, but it always seems like the way in which I communicate is not just about me. It's also thinking about everyone else that's sitting at home that's also a citizen, because that's who I represent when I sit up there. So I ask questions, I speak things, I say things, and I look at situations and I try to do it from a broad point of view so that I'm not just up there seeking my own needs and getting the things I want taken care of.
I believe in direct and respectful communication. Good governance requires listening carefully, asking questions, and speaking honestly when concerns arise. I won't be a rubber stamp. My responsibility is to represent the people of Kingfisher and share differing perspectives when necessary. Professionalism and mutual respect are essential for a commission to work efficiently.
I know all of the city commissioners, the other commissioners personally. I have, I think, all of their phone numbers, and I will make sure they have my phone number so that if they need to talk to me, they can call me and talk to me. We have to be careful because there are laws we can't get, I found this out when I was on commission before, that we cannot get into a huddle. One-on-one, we can talk about something, but you get three of us together, and that's called a quorum, and that's like having a meeting that's illegal, so you can't do that. But I will have my phone number available to them, make sure they have my phone number, and I have their numbers. There's 2 seats open on the commission, and I know one of the people for sure that's running for that. Whichever person wins that seat, I will have their phone number if I am elected to the city commission, so that we can communicate on a one-on-one basis and answer questions. Sometimes questions are simple, sometimes they get a little more complicated. And not that any decisions are made ahead of time, but sometimes you get an idea from another commissioner how they're thinking, and you get their idea of, okay, that's not a bad idea. Maybe that'll work for us.
Yeah, so this is a topic I know very well. I have a lot of friends that are involved with winter nights and the chamber. As much as talking about the tree first, it's been explained over and over, but the city does not pay for the tree. That is winter nights, 100%, and all that's through donation. The only thing that the city pays for is just for Jim to go pick it out. And I'm sure there was an agreement. Somebody decided that Jim's the best person to do that, because I know that's a collaboration from Winter Nights, from Chamber and the city. Winter Nights pays for the tree through donations. So we need somebody that's responsible to go pick it out, spend our money well. And I think that's why people think that the city pays for it, is just because the city goes and picks it out. But I know that is not true. But I am very supportive of all of the Christmas festivities that the city allows to happen in Kingfisher. The city the park where Winter Nights is at is the city park. The train is owned by the city. And the city allows Winter Nights to use those facilities. And I know that the city does pay for the electricity for the Winter Nights, but that with LED lights, we know that cost is minimal. The city allows the Winter Nights to use the train. That is a huge draw to the Winter Nights. I was getting some numbers last night before to prepare, and I was told that they had 5,000 tickets sold for the train this last year. So, that's a big draw that brings people in from out of town. I think that's very important, that we have these Christmas events like Winter Nights, and also the downtown, what the chamber puts on, the downtown parade and the fireworks show. I think it's very important to have it. That brings business into Kingfisher, brings people from Oklahoma City, Guthrie, Edmond, and they spend money in our town. They spend money in our restaurants and our gas stations, and again, tax revenue. So I believe it's very important. I'm a huge supporter of our Christmas events. I just when I saw this question, I kind of laughed, because I already knew that the city didn't pay for the tree. But I think that anyway, so it's not an issue. Very supportive.
I've been very instrumental when people talk about, for instance, the Christmas tree. And they've been very upset that, the city's spending this money doing this, city doing this. And there again, lack of understanding. And so I was glad I'm in a position that I can still have a voice to hear what they're saying, but understand what's really going on. And I would tell them, I said, the city didn't pay for that tree. They said, oh, they didn't? No. The city didn't pay for that truck to go up there. They didn't? No. The city didn't do that, put them lights on there. The city didn't do it. And they said, well, we didn't know that. but they heard other people talking about it. And so I believe with all the city events going on, we need to get an understanding before we start knocking the city for doing this, doing that. Why are we spending this money? Why are we doing that, you know? And so I love to, I don't think I'm going around correcting people, just informing people. And if you have the right information, and I learned this from Pioneer Telephone, when things are going on, if you don't tell them what's going on, then they'll make up stories. And that's the way it is in the city. If the city don't tell them what's going on and why they're doing it, people are going to make up their own stories. And so it's very important with all the city events going on, especially the Christmas tree, to get that out there way before people start talking.
I think our parade is amazing. Like the last 2 years has blown me out the water. Being someone who is faith oriented, I love the perspectives of everybody. I would never infringe my thoughts or beliefs onto somebody else and be like, you got to think this way. But I do love the fact that our parade has brought the message of Jesus each time the last couple of years. So I think that's awesome. I think how it's beautiful, how big it is, and how like it still feels like you're just sitting somewhere with a group of friends watching the parade. Like it doesn't feel like you're amassed all these different visitors and people who probably you've never seen and will never see again until next Christmas. So it's always a good thing. I again would just love more participation from all kinds of different places. That would be awesome. The big tree I think is kind of cute. I mean, I love the fact that we have the lighting of the tree next to the chamber, which now it feels a little like it's being overshadowed by our big tree. But the tradition that has been started by bringing it in, if we can keep it going where it doesn't cost us anything to do it, that would be amazing. But I do think it's kind of neat just because it's fun looking. It's got like, and if every year we're decorating it different and throwing stuff up there, and that the choir gets to go down there and sing and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of neat. I think it's neat.
I personally am involved with the Christmas parade. My wife is actually on the chamber, so I get to go help set up the barricades. I know there's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's not just the city of Kingfisher, it's not just the chamber, it's a lot of local businesses that actually put a lot of effort into it. The large Christmas tree is really nice to look at when you're going into the winter nights, and people really appreciate the value that it brings to winter nights.
I participated in the parade this past year. I was extremely happy with the way the chamber handled that and seeing the enormous crowd that they drew and brought to town. Did an excellent job of advertising that. The Christmas tree has been a debatable subject in town. I know I've heard good and I've heard bad. It's very beautiful once we get it there. I don't like the idea of spending the amount of money that we spend on it every year. I personally would like to see them buy a nice tree that maybe isn't as tall as what the one they pick out, but get a live tree and plant it and let it continue to grow and nourish that tree where it will grow, where we have the same tree. And I also want to see that done with donations where the city does not have to put any money out, draw money out of their funds to do that, even though it is a big draw for the city. And we've used, I know city crews do the decorating, most of the decorating for it, and that's quite fine, putting forth some labor, volunteering the labor for it. But like I say, I've just got my own idea on the tree that I would like to see a live tree there that is used year after year.
I think that this has been a conversation for a long time that's been happening. It's nothing new. I'm neutral on the pool. There are the pool has been voted on twice by the city, and both times it's been approved. So apparently, our citizens support having a pool. There's pros and cons of our current situation. The pros are it is an indoor pool and that allows it to be open 365 days a year. The pool is under new management now, and I hear that there's lots of parties, brings in a lot of people from out of town. It's very busy on the weekends. They have classes there, and it's very well used. I hear under the new management, it's very clean, consistent hours. A lot of the issues that we had before under previous management has been addressed, and I hear that it's great. I like having a pool because that brings people from out of town in. Now, those are the pros. The con is that it's an indoor pool. If we went back 25 years ago or whenever it was that we built that, it's always hindsight, right? We could have said, well, we knew as an indoor pool we'd have issues. If we had gone back in time, we could have done something different, done a hybrid, done some outside, some inside. But here we are today in the present, we have to deal with the situation that we have. I'm envious whenever I see like Hennessy's new pool and it's an outdoor and I see how busy it is. And if it had been 25 years ago, I would say we should have done that. But we are here. The decision really is whether we keep funding it or not. I know it is everyone knows it's a money pit. But if we close it down, we are going against what our voters have said they wanted. And we would have a building sitting there empty, or we'd have to find another use for it. And no matter what we do, it's going to cost us money. So we really need to decide what we want to do. I think we need a pool regardless, whether we have an indoor or an outdoor pool, because it gives not only our own citizens a place to go and swim and to have birthday parties and such at, and it also brings or people from outside of town in. So it's going to be I know it's going to be a difficult decision no matter what we do. And so it puts me, because I am a supporter of having a pool, puts me as a neutral party in it. And we just need to make a decision of what's best, not only financially, but also for what our citizens want. The city operates as a nonprofit. Every department is a cost center. The pool is no different. It's a cost center. It's going to cost us money no matter what. Even if we have an outdoor pool, it's still going to cost us money. The ticket sales are never going to pay for it, no matter what. So I hope we can everybody can get together and make a good decision for the city, because we definitely do need a pool.
Awesome. I love the pool, and the reason I love the pool, because my lovely wife Sabrina, she had lupus and Raynaud's, and that pool didn't put a lot of stress on her. It allowed her to work some stuff, but not stress her. And so I do know the pool in the morning time, I think like 6 o'clock in the morning, is people to go in there. And right now, I found out it's like 25 or 30 people going there in the morning. And a lot of people can't walk in, it hurts their joints and stuff. But that pool, it does something for the joints and stuff. And you work and stuff, but it's soothing, it's comforting to your body and stuff to be. And then it's warm. It's warm. And so I love the pool, and I did, and I've always asked like the one that was over, hey, how are we doing? Even when I wasn't on there, what we doing? and the parties being booked, the way they've been booking the parties, and we've had baptism down there. See, our church is small, and so we don't have a baptism, and so we'll call the pool ahead of time and say, hey, can we come in on Sunday at this time and do a baptism? And then afterwards, we have a little pool party. They let us, we pay and everything. But I am for the pool, and a lot of people say it costs a lot of money and stuff. But the pool is saving a lot of people's lives too. The pool is causing a lot of people not to be so stressful. The pool is telling people to be blessed and not stressed.
My opinion on the pool is it sucks that it went for so long without getting taken care of like it should have been. It sucks that it's in a position that it needs a lot of love and attention, which equates a lot of money. I think it's a great attraction that we have the pool in our community, not just for because it's a pool, but because it has all these other little features to it. Like we have senior citizens that go down there and do their aerobics in the mornings and stuff like that. Like that's their routine, and that's where they get to have community and see each other and stuff like that, and then get healthy. Like who doesn't want that? Also because like when you go there, you can have your parties and you have people from everywhere. You can have your parties, you can have baptisms. I've never heard of that being happening anywhere in any other community where churches frequently go to the pool and baptize folks. I think that's beautiful. I think those who are running it right now are amazing, top notch. And I just would like to see, my opinion would be for it to have a little more autonomy so that it can grow the way it should be growing, like through social media, through, things that are trending, things that it can do right now, like get youth involved and stuff like that. We have a lot of youth that work down there. So I want to see like a lot of our youth get involved with just getting it popping basically. I think it's a great attraction. We just need to find the right fit of how to keep it going without draining the rest of, the things that we got going on in the city. But other than that, I love it. It's a cool thing to add to when you say like, hey, you ever been to Kingfisher? You want to come to Kingfisher? And lots of people come through just for the pool. So yeah.
The Verney Snow Aquatic Center is a valued community asset. I didn't have it when I was a child, but I did have a son that worked there as a lifeguard during high school. So it does bring jobs to the area, and it brings a lot of good social interactions. It brings in outside communities to go swimming and hold parties. I've been involved in birthday parties with nieces and nephews there. So I think it's a good thing, but I don't know what the financial aspect is because I haven't really seen the financials from it and what the burden is on the city of Kingfisher.
I came onto the commission before, just as the pool was finished. I'm the only living commissioner that's got my name on the plaque of the pool. And they put that plaque inside it. They took it off the outside wall and put it inside because they've done some remodeling at the pool. And yet I didn't have any of the decision making. It just happened to be that I'd got elected, and I was one of them when they officially opened the pool that I was a commissioner, so my name was put on the plaque. But the pool is a good thing. It provides entertainment for not only our community, but I have been told that communities like El Reno, they come up, bring their kids up for birthday parties, especially like in the wintertime. Bring them up for birthday, make arrangements and reserve the pool for birthday parties. And I know that we've had in the years past that Vance Air Force Base had a contract with the city. They was bringing their pilots down for underwater training in case they had to ditch a plane in the water, and that was the only place available for them. But they was coming down once a week, bringing a whole busload of pilots down to train them there. So the pool is a big draw. It's well known. I understand there's people come from Edmond and El Reno and all the surrounding communities to it. Plus, I remember when we had it shut down the other summer for a total remodel which it needed. And I think everything that was done is necessary. I know it's expensive to run, but that pool is very important for the community. They put in a water park at Shaw Park, which I'm just 2 blocks away from that, and that park is used by families too. The water park is. So we've got 2 very good drawing cards, and families look at that when they come into a community to look and see whether they want to buy or rent a home there and live there, and especially if they have young children. And so I think the pool is a good thing. It's you bring families in from out of town too, and they usually stop and eat, something that adds to our tax revenue.
Yeah, so I appreciate everyone listening, and Jack, I really appreciate all about putting these videos on. I know that you're doing this yourself, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, I hope everybody will come out and vote, no matter who you vote for, no matter what your stance is. We need a real good turnout on the day of the election. So everyone, please come out and vote.
Okay, my final words again. I want to see, this shirt says team. It says team. It says team. I believe whether I win or not, Kingfisher has a team put together that we all gonna still win. And so I just want to encourage the people, go out and vote. Just go vote. Don't sit at home. Don't say your vote don't make a difference. I'm going to tell you to go vote. We got some good candidates in there, and I believe in every single one of them. And I'm going to tell you on April the 7th, get out your rocking chair, get out your house, and go vote.
Final words would be, I definitely encourage everybody to go out and vote, because that is a privilege that so many of us had to fight for, literally. And it's a right that you get when you get to a certain age and you belong to a community that is good. So everybody should do that. Everybody should get out and just express. I'd love to see the numbers just popping. Doesn't matter where those numbers are falling. I just want to see the numbers big. My final words would be that this position is a unique position. It's not about the heart. I think it's not about somebody being better than somebody else or more fit for this role. It's about being able to fit there and hold the mantle of what the responsibility really is, which everyone is not fit for that. And you'll notice by the revolving door that happens with some of our seats and things, because it's not about being like super nice to everybody. It's not about being like volunteering everywhere. It's not about being, just opinionated or anything like that. There's a combination of factors that go with sitting there and doing it well, that involves having a little bit of all of that, but also understanding that you sitting there represents the rest of Kingfisher. So you sitting there means that you need to be thinking at all times while you're up there, not about your own wants, desires, your friends' wants and desires, what you think would be really, really great, but you're thinking on a broad spectrum about everybody else and figuring out how to voice that and how to find a balance so that we do the thing that is right, not the thing that feels good.
I'm asking your vote on April 7th because Kingfisher deserves steady, experienced leadership with someone who understands this community. My lifelong roots here and nearly 26 years at Pioneer Telephone reflect a long-term commitment to Kingfisher. With this being a one-year term, my focus would be on providing continuity, asking the right questions, and making thoughtful, fact-based decisions. I will listen, communicate openly, and work to protect our quality of life while helping guide Kingfisher forward.
I would ask the people of Kingfisher, everybody within the city limits that can vote legally, to get out on April the 7th and voice your opinion. This is how Kingfisher knows what they need to be doing and what direction you want to see the community take. A lot of times it's not a very good turnout for a city commission race, but please get out and vote, and don't be afraid to talk to the commissioners that are on there and the mayor. Tell them what you think and give them your perspective and your ideas of what direction the commission ought to be going.